Deep within the San Lazaro rock shelter near Segovia in Spain, a remarkable discovery has offered us a direct connection to an ancient human relative. Archaeologists unearthed a small, unassuming granite pebble, but its surface held an extraordinary secret. Pressed into red ochre pigment deliberately applied to the stone was a complete human fingerprint. This imprint, meticulously analyzed and dated, has been attributed to a Neanderthal, likely an adult male. The significance of this finding resonates through the ages, as it is now considered the world's oldest known human fingerprint, a tangible link to an individual who lived approximately 43,000 years ago, long before became the sole human species on Earth. The pebble itself, measuring just over 20 centimeters in length, was not merely a passive recipient of this ancient touch. The red ochre, rich in iron oxides and clay minerals, was carefully placed on the stone in a way that seems to resemble a nose on a face-like shape naturally present in the pebble. This suggests an intentional act, a deliberate interaction between the Neanderthal and the object. The fingerprint, therefore, is not an accidental smudge, but a component of a larger, more complex behavior. It speaks volumes about the individual who left it, providing a personal and intimate glimpse into a world vastly different from our own, yet strikingly familiar in its human touch. This discovery, first brought to light in July 2022, with detailed research published around May 2025 in the journal, has profound implications. It pushes back the timeline for direct evidence of human interaction with art-like objects. The ochre and the pebble were likely sourced from outside the immediate vicinity of the cave, indicating a degree of planning and resourcefulness in their acquisition. The act of collecting these materials, preparing the pigment and then applying it to the stone before leaving a distinct fingerprint suggests a sequence of thoughtful actions far removed from the brutish stereotype once assigned to Neanderthals. The very existence of such an artifact challenges long-held assumptions about the cognitive capacities of our ancient cousins. For many years, Neanderthals were depicted as less intelligent, less capable of symbolic thought than early. However, this fingertip pressed into pigmented earth so long ago tells a different story. It hints at a mind capable of perception, intention, and perhaps even a nascent form of artistic or symbolic expression. This single print serves as a powerful reminder that the story of human evolution is far more nuanced and interconnected than previously understood, with multiple hominin species possessing complex cognitive landscapes. The San Lazaro fingerprint is not just an ancient impression, it is a testament to the potential for symbolic thought and artistic expression among Neanderthals. The researchers who studied the find, including David Alvarez Alonso of Complutense University, interpret this artifact as one of the oldest pieces of European portable art. The careful placement of the ochre to accentuate a natural feature of the pebble, making it resemble a nose, suggests an act of pareidolia, the human tendency to perceive familiar patterns like faces in random stimuli. However, the Neanderthal individual went a step further by intentionally modifying the object, enhancing this perceived resemblance. This act of modification is crucial. It implies a capacity for mental image conception, the ability to hold an idea in the mind and then translate it into a physical form. The deliberate communication, whether to oneself or to others, and the attribution of meaning to an inanimate object are hallmarks of sophisticated cognitive function. While some external experts advise a degree of caution regarding the definitive symbolic interpretation of the face, the intentionality behind the pigment application and the fingerprint itself strongly suggests a level of abstraction and imagination. It hints at a world where objects could hold meaning beyond their mere physical properties. The choice of red ochre is also significant. Ochre was a widely used pigment by many ancient human groups, including Neanderthals and early. Its use is often associated with symbolic behaviors such as body painting, ritual practices, or the creation of art. The fact that this Neanderthal sourced ochre, prepared it, and applied it to a specific stone, which they then marked with their own finger, points towards a purposeful engagement with materials for reasons that likely transcended simple utility. This was not about making a tool for survival in the strictest sense. It was about something more, something perhaps aesthetic or communicative. This discovery contributes to a growing body of evidence that Neanderthals were capable of symbolic behavior and artistic expression. activities once thought to be exclusive to. The notion that they could engage in imaginative play, recognize and enhance forms in nature, and leave deliberate marks transforms our understanding of their inner lives. The fingerprint on the face pebble acts as a bridge, allowing us to glimpse the cognitive world of these ancient humans, a world richer and more complex than we previously dared to imagine. It suggests that the well springs of art and symbolism may run deeper in the human lineage than once conceived. The remarkable fingerprint from San Lazzaro does not stand in isolation. It is part of an increasingly rich tapestry of evidence demonstrating the advanced cognitive and technological sophistication of Neanderthals. For instance, far to the south, in Gibraltar, Neanderthals were engaged in complex industrial processes as early as 60,000 years ago. In Vanguard Cave, archaeologists discovered evidence of tar production through anoxic heating. This was no simple feat. It involved designing a special pit to heat buried wood to hundreds of degrees Celsius, carefully controlling the process so the wood exuded resin without bursting into flames, a testament to their understanding of material science and pyrotechnology. This tar, painstakingly produced, served a crucial practical purpose. It was an adhesive likely used for hafting stone points to spear shafts, creating more effective hunting weapons. The research, led by Clive Finlayson and published around November 2024, highlights that such capability required significant technical knowledge, careful planning, and complex cognitive abilities. It shows Neanderthals not as passive scavengers but as active engineers, capable of manipulating their environment and materials to create sophisticated tools. This level of technological prowess indicates a deep understanding of cause and effect, and the ability to transmit complex knowledge across generations. Further north in France, at the site of Chépinot-Jonzac, another facet of Neanderthal skill has been uncovered. Archaeologists there found a diverse array of bone tools, including meticulously crafted scrapers, chisels, and smoothers. These were not crude implements, but were shaped using sophisticated percussion techniques, indicating a nuanced understanding of bone as a raw material and the processes required to transform it into effective tools. This specialized toolkit suggests a level of craftsmanship and adaptation previously underestimated, demonstrating their ability to exploit a variety of resources beyond just stone for their technological needs. Moreover, evidence from Bajandillo Cave in Spain reveals that Neanderthals engaged in systematic shellfish collection, a complex subsistence strategy once thought to be a hallmark of modern human behavior. This indicates more diverse diets and a greater adaptability to coastal environments than previously assumed. Coupled with findings of cave wall paintings dating back as early as 64,800 years, the collection of specific feathers, use of pigments for potential body adornment, creation of jewelry and abstract engravings, a picture emerges of a species with a rich cultural and technological repertoire capable of much more than mere survival. Collectively, these discoveries, crowned by the intimate touch of the 43,000-year-old fingerprint, are fundamentally altering our perception of Neanderthals. For a long time they were cast as the brutish, intellectually inferior cousins of a failed branch on the human evolutionary tree. However, the accumulating evidence paints a dramatically different portrait, one of a sophisticated, adaptable and intelligent hominin species, whose capabilities in many respects mirrored those of early modern humans who were their contemporaries in parts of the world. This understanding is not just an academic revision, it redefines our own origins. The ability to produce complex adhesives like tar to craft specialized bone tools, to systematically exploit marine resources, and most strikingly, to engage in symbolic and artistic behaviors places Neanderthals on a much more level playing field with. The San Lazzaro fingerprint, with its suggestion of artistic intent and self-awareness, is a poignant example of this cognitive parity. It implies that the capacity for abstract thought, for seeing beyond the literal, and for imbuing the world with meaning was not unique to our direct ancestors. This shared heritage of advanced cognition makes the story of human evolution far more complex and fascinating. This Neanderthal renaissance in anthropological understanding is a game changer. It forces us to reconsider the very definition of what it meant to be human in the deep past. If Neanderthals could create art, plan complex technological processes, and perhaps even communicate using symbolic systems, as some evidence of their tracheal anatomy and burial practices suggests, then the supposed cognitive chasm between them narrows considerably, or perhaps even vanishes for certain domains. This challenges the narrative of a simple linear progression where inevitably outcompeted and replaced all other hominins due to superior intellect alone. The implications extend to our understanding of the interactions between Neanderthals and early. If their cognitive abilities were comparable, their encounters might have been more varied and complex than previously imagined, involving not just competition but also cultural exchange and, as genetic evidence confirms, interbreeding. The Neanderthal fingerprint is more than just an ancient mark, it is a symbol of this revised understanding. It invites us to see Neanderthals not as other, but as a distinct yet profoundly capable branch of humanity whose legacy continues to resonate even within our own DNA, compelling us to rewrite a significant chapter in the story of humankind.